Hey, what's going on, guys? Wanted to shoot a quick video because I didn't give enough love to this Schwab ETF, a couple weeks ago when we looked at all the funds that were getting the share splits. So this is another popular fund that they offer. It is a U.S. large cap ETF. It's a very competitive expense ratio. The objective of the fund is to track as closely as possible before fees and expenses to the total return of the Dow Jones U.S. Large Cap Total Stock Market Index. So the highlights is a straightforward low-cost fund offering potential tax efficiency. Do remember ETFs are a little bit more tax efficient than mutual funds if you hold them in a brokerage account. It says the fund can serve as a part of the core of a diversified portfolio. Simple access to the 750 largest U.S. companies as ranked by full market capitalization. So the S&P 500 is only 500, so this is the S&P 750, if that kind of makes sense there, may provide long-term growth for your portfolio. So another thing about this fund, it recently underwent a 3-for-1 share split. So it's currently trading, I think, around $20. So this is one that went under the radar. I did not even realize that they offered something like this. I talked about SCHG, which is Schwab's large cap growth fund, and then SCHD is a very popular, large cap value dividend fund. But I just must have missed this one, and I apologize. I wish I would have, let everyone know about that before. But let's go ahead and look at it now. Kind of go a little bit more of a deep dive here. So not a lot of volume. That's the only a con that I've seen so far, and that might be today as of this morning, so maybe that's not updated. But yeah, currently it's trading right below $23 a share at $22.98. The inception date has been around since 2009. They have, I think that's like 49 billion. Expense ratio, like I mentioned, very competitive there. Holding 755. Portfolio turnover rate is pretty low at 3.45%. The Morningstar category, I'll pull up Morningstar here in a second too, because I like looking at funds on their platform. Some more characteristics over here. Yield's pretty competitive with the other ones. Let's look at the performance here and see how it's kind of done. Okay, so year to date up 21.44%. Pretty solid there. I think that's lagging a little bit of the S&P 500, but that's fine. You're a little bit more diversified. With 700 holdings versus 500. Well, that's a good thing or not. You have to do your own research on that. So annualized returns, the past year it's up almost 36%. The past 3 years it's up 10.9%. 5 years is 15.7%. 10 years is 13.17%, and ever since the inception back in 2009, it's averaged 14.21% per year. So pretty solid. Okay, coming down here, give some more data about after-tax returns. Yeah, it's not a huge deal. I mean, unless you're, because the dividend is only pretty small there. Okay, so here's an illustration of investing $10,000 back in, looks like 2015. That you would have over $33,000 there. Looks like it's beating the large blend Morningstar category. Cool. So the worst 3 months were between December of 2019 and March of 2020 of 19.86%. And then the best followed right after that. So so I think that was the COVID crash. So the best 3 months were the ones following. Cool. There's some nice looking chart there ever since 2015. Yeah, you're doing pretty well there. Let's look at the portfolio and see what's in here. So yeah, it looks like the standard. It's selected by market cap. So as you can see, the way that they do that is they sort it from highest market cap to lowest market cap. I thought Tesla was higher than. Okay, so I don't see Tesla in here, but yeah. So Apple obviously is leading the way at 3.3 billion. Nvidia is coming for Apple. Yeah, 3.2 billion. Microsoft lagging a little bit there at 2.9 billion, and then so on. This fund is still pretty tech heavy, as you can see, almost 32% in tech. And then looks like the second highest category is coming in financials and then healthcare. And then obviously it's all large cap. Looks like there's some smaller ones there as well, or mid-sized ones. Okay, distribution. So it looks like they pay quarterly, pretty common for ETFs. Looks like they are on the 36912. So that you will be paid in March. So sometimes it's June, sometimes it's July, but March, June or July, September, and then November. And these should all be, so income. So it'll be qualified income. There may be some REITs in there, but I think for the majority, it's qualified dividends, which is pretty cool. Okay, let's hop over to Morningstar. Okay, so on Morningstar, they ranked them as looks like a four-star fund. So this is on the scale of 5 stars, obviously the biggest. But yeah, a lot of the data we've already talked about. $50 billion assets under management. So just kind of keep in mind, I think SPY is like 600 or 700 billion. So that's kind of it's almost a tenth of the size of SPY as far as assets under management. Let's look at some other stuff here. Okay, so a lot of this stuff is blocked out. I can't see it, but look at the performance again. Yeah, so over 30,000-ish. So this is probably a little bit further back, but you can kind of see the prior year returns. Yeah, 13, 1, 11. So needless to say, a pretty solid performing fund, historically speaking. Here's some risk data. Yeah, I'm not sure what this is. It's their values, animal testing, military contracting, life ethics. Huh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty interesting stuff there. Let's look at the risk. So on a portfolio risk score, it looks like it's coming in at a 73 out of 100. The risk is above average. The return is average for the category. Obviously, your beta is going to be pretty close to 1 there. Yeah. The price, obviously, this just recently got a 3-for-1 split, so it is going to be a lot more affordable for those investors that don't really have access to fractional shares. You have to buy whole shares. I've mentioned this before. It doesn't really change a whole lot when they did this share split. It's going to be the same amount of value. You're just going to have more shares. And the thing that I think they really wanted to do this because on Schwab, the only fractional shares that they kind of currently offer, it appears to me, is mutual funds or like individual S&P 500 stocks. So like Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, you can buy fractional shares of those companies, but you can't purchase fractional shares of their ETFs. So I think that's, at least on their platform. Obviously, you can buy it on like Fidelity, Robinhood, Vanguard, or maybe not Vanguard, but other platforms out there, you can purchase fractional shares of Schwab ETFs. I'm just specifically talking about their platform there. Portfolio, obviously I like looking at this because it kind of gives me an idea of large, medium, and small cap as far as, the stock style or, the market cap size. Obviously this is a large cap fund, so the majority of the allocation should be to this top row here. But since it does have 700 stocks, you are getting some mid cap exposure to it appears, and then maybe even some small majority U.S. So if you're looking for an international fund, this may not be the best option for you. But to caveat with that, a lot of the big companies are globally, based, like Apple, Microsoft. A lot of them have international exposure just within themselves. And then, yeah, as we mentioned before, tech is going to be the biggest sector, as many index funds currently based on market caps. You got tech, you got financial services, you got healthcare. So, holding 752, and then leading us off is Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Alphabet, and so on there. So yeah, that's going to be really the extent of this overview. I just kind of wanted to give some light to it because I missed it. I didn't really talk about it the last time I talked about Schwab's big, share split of over 20 funds that they recently did. I think this is a popular fund. I think it's a good fund someone can look at and kind of evaluate. If you want like S&P 500 exposure with a little bit more mid cap, this could be something you could look at for sure. I'm definitely interested in it. I'm going to continue to do some more research on it. Might continue to, look at purchasing some shares and start building out a position. Like I mentioned before, the cool thing about it is it's only $23 a share. So, a lot of my investments or funds, like my goal is to get to a minimum of 100 shares. So I had the option to sell covered calls. I may not always do that because sometimes it just doesn't make sense to, but I do like having the ability to do that if I want to. So yeah, do with that as you will. Hope you got some value from this video. Please like and subscribe down below. Definitely go check out this fund. Once again, it is ticker symbol SCHX. Let me know what you think down below. Does this fund look attracting to you? Is it, something that you're going to consider? Let me know down below. Once again, it's Schwab's U.S. Large Cap ETF, SCHX.